Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating new research paper titled Data Journalist Agent: Transforming Data into Verifiable Multimodal Stories. It's an incredible look at the intersection of artificial intelligence and news reporting, right where raw data meets the very human art of storytelling.
It's a huge question, isn't it? Could an AI actually run an entire newsroom? As we watch how fast technology is advancing, this is the exact challenge a team of researchers decided to tackle. They wanted to see if a multi-agent AI framework could automate the incredibly nuanced, complex world of data journalism completely from start to finish.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the Data Journalism Challenge. Second, we'll introduce the Data Two-Story Agent. Third, we'll break down two groundbreaking AI innovations. Fourth, we'll look at the ultimate 18-article test. And finally, AI as the new newsroom collaborator. Let's jump in.
Section 1, the Data Journalism Challenge.
Okay, so before we even touch the AI side of things, we really have to appreciate the sheer human effort it takes to produce trustworthy news. As the researchers point out, data tells the stories that literally shape our society. But taking that raw, chaotic data and turning it into something you and I can actually understand and trust, that is a massive undertaking. A high-quality news feature doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a dedicated newsroom team, weeks of rigorous effort.
Just think about the grueling, step-by-step process humans go through. First, they hunt for context, figuring out, what do these numbers actually mean in the real world? Then, they're running complex statistics to make absolutely sure everything is accurate. Third, they have to choose a compelling editorial angle. And fourth, they have to design the visuals to make it accessible. Now, sure, recently we've seen AI agents that can handle individual steps, like a data science agent running the numbers or a design agent spinning up a web page. But pulling it all together end to end, that is the ultimate challenge.
Which brings us to Section 2. Enter the Data Two-Story Agent.
To try and streamline this massive bottleneck, the researchers introduced Data to Story. This is a multi-agent framework built around this really cool concept of a virtual newsroom. So it's not just one giant AI brain trying to juggle everything. Instead, it orchestrates specialized AI roles. Think of them as distinct virtual employees, all working together in a single digital newsroom to take an article from raw data all the way to a fully published piece. Section 3. Two groundbreaking AI innovations. Now, this is where Data to Story really separates itself from your everyday AI tools. The framework brings two massive innovations to the table. First, every single claim it makes is entirely evidence-grounded. And second, the articles it produces are multimodally generative. Let's unpack what both of these concepts actually mean in practice. Innovation 1 relies on a specific AI persona within the framework, and they call it the inspector. You can picture the inspector as the virtual newsroom's strictest, most unforgiving fact-checker. Its one and only job is to guarantee that every single claim made in the generated article is backed by rigorous, undeniable evidence. Here's how the inspector actually works behind the scenes. Step 1, it analyzes absolutely everything. We're talking every number, every editorial angle, and every visual asset generated. Step 2, it meticulously links those claims straight back to the original source data and the code used to analyze it. And Step 3, it double-checks everything against external references. So the crucial takeaway here is this: absolutely nothing gets published by Data Two-Story unless the inspector can trace it directly back to the truth. It's a brilliant way to solve the hallucination problem that plagues so many AI models today.
Moving right along to Innovation 2, multimodal storytelling. Instead of just defaulting to boring, plain text and static, lifeless charts, Data to Story actually reasons about what readers will want to see and hear. It builds dynamic experiences. Depending on the subject, the AI autonomously recognizes the context. For instance, if it's writing a data-driven story about geography or demographics, it'll automatically write the code to deploy interactive maps. Or, if it's analyzing data related to music, it seamlessly integrates audio elements directly into the article. It completely tailors the presentation to fit the narrative, and it does it all autonomously. Pretty wild, right? But of course, a tool like this is really only as good as its real-world performance. That brings us to Section 4, the ultimate 18-article test.
To find out how this AI actually stacks up against seasoned human experts, the researchers ran a massive evaluation. They had Data 2 Story generate 18 distinct articles, but here's the real kicker. Each of these 18 AI-generated articles was directly paired up against an originally published expert piece written by human data journalists based on the exact same data. A true head-to-head face-off.
And they didn't go easy on the AI. They judged this face-off across 4 incredibly strict axes. First, they looked at human agent angle coverage, basically asking, did the AI manage to find the same interesting stories as the humans? Second, they conducted a rubric evaluation with 53 human participants grading the pieces across 5 different dimensions. Third, and this is an incredibly clever, cost-saving move, they actually used other AI computer use agents as navigation judges to simulate how a real reader would click and scroll through the interactive articles. Finally, they used a coding verifier to re-execute statements against the data to ensure absolute verifiability. So, after all that rigorous testing, who actually won, man or machine?
Let's find out in Section 5, AI, the new newsroom collaborator.
The results were incredibly revealing. Data to Story produced highly competitive multimedia stories. The AI completely crushed it when it came to transparency, evidence traceability, and auditability. Because of that strict inspector agent, you could verify exactly where every single number came from. However, the human journalists still retained a distinct edge. The human-crafted articles were simply better when it came to finding that nuanced editorial angle, creative design, and overall presentation.
And that leads us perfectly to the main takeaway from the researchers themselves. They state, we position Data to Story as a collaborator for journalists, enabling more evidence-based, transparent, and verifiable reporting. So the AI isn't here to steal anyone's job. It's not replacing the human element, the creativity, or the editorial instinct. It's really just here to do the heavy lifting on data processing and verification, making the final human-driven story as robust and trustworthy as possible. Which leaves us with this final thought to chew on. As these virtual newsroom agents become more and more integrated into our media landscape, how will verifiable AI collaborators change the news you read tomorrow? I mean, think about it. If every chart and every claim can be instantly audited and traced back to the source by an AI, we might be entering a completely new era of media transparency. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the data, and I'll see you next time.